And welcome back to the LEC, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else. It is EXCEL taking on Rogue, and Troubleshot is once again going to guide you through the game. Now, EXCEL are a team that got me really excited once Advienne and Markoon joined, and their playstyle just evolved and got a little more aggressive, so much so that I bought tickets to the first ever EXCEL playoffs train.
Where's the train now?
I think it may be derailing. I think it's not 100% where I thought it was going. And I think that for EXCEL, they can still make it. They are the team that I think a lot of people were anticipating to be in that 6th spot.
So here's the thing.
Hasn't gone the way they wanted.
Beat EXCEL died, their academy died, so this dream can stay alive. So for the sake of the organization, it better stay alive today.
That is a beautiful, beautiful sentiment, because it truly was the injection of Advienne and Markoon that helped shift EXCEL's approach to the game, their playstyle, their aggressiveness. But they are coming up against Rogue. Arguably, maybe defendably, the best team in Europe right now. At least in the standings, they are the top uncontested, and it's going to be very difficult to unseat one of the best early game teams in Europe.
I mean, they're literally the polar opposite. You've got EXCEL on one side where it's bloody, man. Every time they walk into the Rift, now with Markoon in the addition of the team, it's bloody. He fights, he wants to get his team ahead, he wants to get his lanes ahead, and he will try for it. Rogue don't care about being flashy. They can be flashy, don't get me wrong, but they don't necessarily care about it. They don't have to care about it because they choke their opponent slowly and painfully. Rogue is sort of like poison on the Rift for their opponents.
I like that, and I think it's a beautiful analogy, because when you do see Rogue get advantages in the early game, it comes from very, very smart utilization of their lanes.
Okay, I'm going insane. Twice Lucian has been picked, I get it, but Viego has been 1v9 the entire time.
Well, maybe something has changed, obviously, as we are on 11-15. Lucian is disabled. Let's run through some of the other potential champions that could fit the bill. The
Varus.
The Thresh was banned away, by the way, so both Advienne and Trymbi have lost access to those.
Yeah.
The Alistar is up and available too, and Viego will be locked in here, expecting that to go to Inspired.
And you can also lock in anything like the LeBlanc, the Varus, the Mundo is still up and available. Anything goes right now. There's so many overpowered picks that are still up and available. Inspired, please lock in AP Shyvana, but I know that the Viego is not playable in lane anymore, so my dream dies. My prediction stays for the Varus, but my dream dies.
Very nicely done. While we've been preparing and looking at 11-15, one of the ideas that Trouble was floating was how Shyvana could be a jungler.
I mean, if anyone, I think Inspired would be the one to pull a wacky pick out.
Well, it could be. This time around, maybe not going to be, as the Diana and the Jayce are now locked in. So got that poke, got the ability to impact the lanes. The bottom lane for Patrik and Advienne is what is left to play for. We're expecting that Viego to go in the jungle, so we're looking for top as well as support here for Rogue.
I would potentially ban the Rakan if Trymbi is not planning to play it. I would keep something maybe like the Nautilus for Trymbi, because Rogue is the one picking first after this set of bans. And I would ban out something that Advienne is really strong on. We've seen the Rell. Honestly, so many times I've seen a Rell somewhere. I call it Advienne, I don't call it Rell, because I have these two intertwined so much with each other from seeing him play so much Rell in the NLC. So anything that can engage, that Advienne can get his hands on, the Alistar, the Rell, potentially the Rakan as well, should probably get eliminated now.
I mean, you've also got those Xayah buffs that have come in, but that would be a whole lot from AD and not much frontline. Draven was taken out of the pool. I love that Rogue and Hans Summer banded against Patrik and EXCEL. So the players love to run those.
They both played these two champions.
Correct.
But you know what? Hans Summer has picked his, so.
Yeah, he has indeed. That Varus was secured. Now we need to find out what sort of support will complement it. TK is still available. Malphite was removed from EXCEL towards Rogue, and I
wonder if this is going to be an Aphelios time Kench lane for the side of EXCEL. Banning Malphite. They banned the Kench as well. Banning Malphite to me screams immobile carries in our backline. That's why I immediately thought of the Aphelios. But if they want to get rid of the Kens themselves, a little bit questionable with Nautilus still in the pool, Rakan still in the pool.
Well, what do you think will complement the respective teams? I think when you look at Rogue, long-range poke, they've got some CC.
Oh, I'd go for Nautilus if I was Rogue here.
Oh, I love this from Odoamne. One of the longest-standing Kennen players here in Europe, and he got so excited once the PBE notes were shared. And he managed to lock this one in.
Tell them, Quickshot. Tell them about the notes. Tell them.
Of course, but come on, everybody knows and fears Odoamne's Kennen.
So, Kennen was buffed in 11-15. I put it into my highlights, and the only reason I have Kennen in my highlights for the patch notes, I've written Odoamne's name right next to it. No other reason, no other player, just Odoamne.
What does it do for this composition? Is we got 4 out of the 5 pieces, and it's only the support missing for Rogue.
It literally stops the all-in, but the only one I'm seeing going all-in is Markoon on the Diana. He's the only one that's going to be diving melee, but there's 4 extremely squishy champions on the side of EXCEL and a cow. So, does the Maelstrom slip through and reach the backline? This is going to be huge trouble for EXCEL.
Oh.
I think Rogue have drafted themselves such a stellar composition again. We've been talking over and over again how, you know, teams that have secured playoffs, maybe they want to experiment in an official game. You have the right, you have the time, and you have the space to pull something experimental in an official game while you're locked in. Rogue are serious. Rogue are dead serious.
Now, of course, what's going to try stand in their way is this EXCEL composition that does have the ability to really, really pull ahead. If any of the poke is able to land and Diana plus Jhin long-range curtain call finalizes those kills, I do feel that EXCEL can press the advantage. The thing that I'm scared of is if it's even as this game goes longer and longer and longer, I just feel like there's more options in the Rogue composition. Why are you shaking your head?
I'm looking at the EXCEL composition, I'm like, it's absolutely doomed. Because even the 2v2 from the side of Rogue is strong. Larssen onto the Syndra, and then you've got Inspired onto the Viego, can take the 2v2 versus the Lucian Diana. Especially before 6, where Diana doesn't have her ultimate. Syndra can play pretty freely. See lands and scatter the weak. Viego will follow up with more stuns. They have the setup for Rogue.
Oh, okay, so feeling that the composition favors Rogue, let's find out how EXCEL make theirs work.
Youngbuck. Hi everyone, before we jump onto the Rift, there's something I would like to ask Youngbuck, because I get that Rogue may not be the easiest opponent to go up against when you're fighting for playoffs, but I mean, I was watching the drafts with your crew, and they were happy with the development of things, so tell me why you're happy with the draft you made and how it's going to be helpful against Rogue.
Well, we've recently performed very well with Diana and Lucian, so we actually thought that we were never going to get that combination of champions, but they gave us our bread and butter, so we're just really happy playing in our comfort zone.
Do you feel confident about this game and your guys on stage? How do they feel?
I do feel confident. Of course, we still have a lot of rookies on stage, and we play a very good team, so I think 50-50 at best and at worst.
Well, I hope things will go okay for you. Thank you very much, Youngbuck, for the interview, and back to you guys on the Rift.
Thank you so much, Laure. It's great to have you back in the studio with our players, and it's great to hear from Youngbuck. I think, personally, a little optimistic there on the
Very optimistic, because Syndra does pretty okay into Lucian. She's one of these mages that does quite okay.
Okay, so I know exactly how you feel about the composition.
Oh, I'm gutted!
What does EXCEL have to do to make this work?
They have to snowball. Nukeduck and Markoon literally need to take this game and completely run away with it. They have to destroy Inspire, they have to destroy Larssen. That mid-jungle duo needs to break from the side of Rogue, and they also need to keep their eyes open for map movement, because even when Rogue is losing in kills, their map movement is so sharp, which is something that we have previously criticized EXCEL for, but if you're that far ahead in kills, you can actually follow map movement with people's advantage.
Yeah, you can, and of course then that also means EXCEL will be dictating the pace of the game. Take a look at the early damage and trades for now. Using that fourth shot from Jhin, we'll be able to chunk down and Hunt Summer and Trymbi stepping forward, threatening and pushing back Patrik and Advienne.
Yeah. And this is exactly what you do, because Jhin and Alistar don't necessarily have the best of clears, and Hunt Summer onto the Varus, he has a lot.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Great combo.
I mean,
Larssen.
it might be the bread and butter, right? But Lucian is technically picked to get a lot of priority in the mid lane so you can move around the map. And again, Syndra does pretty all right against the Lucian, especially when he, because Lucian wants to press E to play a little bit more aggressive. That's your only movement spell, and a Scatter the Weak can destroy that entire thing.
Yeah, Larssen's been able to bully Nukeduck away from the lane. Got a small advantage, and Nukeduck sitting with that TP will back and come to fight once again. Hunt Summer and Trymbi pushing all the way forward. And I do want to just talk about how much of a difficult task this is for EXCEL, because when Rogue play against the bottom 5 teams, they are currently 7-0. They have, on average, a 3.8 thousand gold lead at 15 minutes, which they then make 6.3k at 20 minutes, and spend 73% of game time in a major lead. So, with Rogue being one of the best early game teams, being incredibly consistent against the bottom of the table teams, that's why Trouble in particular is very critical of what we're seeing and talking about the draft. So it is up to EXCEL to prove us all wrong and show how they can make this work.
Absolutely. I feel like there's two things that you need to keep in mind, especially when you're playing against a team like Rell, who's 7-0, hasn't lost to any of the bottom of the table teams, right? You need ease of execution and comfort. And Youngbuck mentioned the comfort on the Lucian, the comfort on the Diana, fair enough. The ease of execution is not necessarily there. They don't have the tools and the front line to sustain a front to back to make it an easy to execute composition, right? And you see how Odoamne is so confident playing onto the Kennen, moving a little bit deeper. And as you can see, I just want to highlight what happened on the map while we're talking. These both red dots, they belong to Inspired, because Nukeduck lost the priority in the mid lane, so Inspire was able to run from top Scuttle Crab to bot Scuttle Crab. Huge advantage right there. He's getting the experience and he's getting the gold, and we know that when the Viego reaches the Syndra power spike, he's just so damn strong.
He really is. And of course, just before you talked about the scuttles from Inspired, Odoamne on his Kennen. This year, 6 games played, 83% win ratio, and across his career, 24 professional games on that Kennen. Very interested to see what sort of tools or how he can support the rest of Rogue. Nukeduck continues to get pushed in. He's saying even on CS for now, Force of Will won't find his target, 110 HP. Oh, so close. Nukeduck escapes for now, and Larssen continues to apply pressure and bully this lane.
It's so hard to see a Lucian lane falling behind, right? We mentioned it before. That is a Nukeduck that has... Oh my god, that was so close to hitting.
Oh, Larssen is already doing so well. 42 CS to 20, and reminder, this was a first pick Lucian, and is currently not pulling ahead the way that EXCEL needed to.
Yeah, the bread and butter is not working right now, so you need to keep your eyes on Markoon, possibly play towards Kryze, maybe try to make the side lane work, try to punish Kennen on the top side, look for a bot lane dive with the Alistar as well. Like, Markoon needs to make something happen when he's level 6, when he has the pull in, the sombrero for himself. I think all eyes on him to try and break the game open, because if they don't, all teams typically just bleed slowly out versus Rogue.
Yeah, Rogue definitely capable of maintaining the lead and pushing it through. Big advantage still mid, small advantage for Odo in the top lane. No TPs across the board for now. Inspired is just continuing
Another Scuttle Crab
for opportunities.
Markoon cannot do nothing. He's lost mid lane priority, which is one of the most important in the game. If you don't have that, you cannot contest in the river, because Inspired is bringing a friend over, the mid lane wave is shoved in by Larssen, and they keep bleeding that mid lane pressure into jungle pressure.
Well, of course, that will just allow Inspired to pull further ahead, getting closer and closer to that ultimate available. And Rogue are holding on for the time being. We haven't looked in this bottom lane for a little while. Summer and Trymbi.
I think it's a handshake down there.
I think that's fair enough here. Advienne, of course, able to find the knockup for now. Decent damage from Patrik, waiting for that ult. Defensive flash from Summer. Chase forward. Patrik gets first blood. The handshake is ended.
Is that Caster Curse?
May just be. All of a sudden, Patrik pulls ahead here for EXCEL.
Yeah, number 4 must be Patrik's lucky number right there because he absolutely executed Summer. And we said how something needs to happen on the Rift for EXCEL that does not have to do with mid lane because Nukeduck is slowly bleeding out and Advienne and Patrik make it work. We've talked over and over and over again how Advienne is a different breed of support. He will play for the aggression in lane. He will play for the 2v2. He proves it once again, making his ADC very happy.
He did indeed. Flash is traded between the ADs. Summoner Heal is on cooldown for Summer as well. So for Inspired and Markoon potential targets, both of whom now have their ultimates. Markoon still continues just to farm up his jungle. He's lost control of the scuttles, but really not a huge amount of influence from the junglers as of yet. And all of a sudden, after Trymbi and Summer were first back to lane, they're going to start moving up through the river, setting up some vision behind the Dragon Pit. Maybe that is a signal of things to come for the Rogues.
I think it's technically like a back and forth, trying to find where Markoon is. You see that Inspired takes Larssen with him everywhere he can, just so he can put pressure onto Markoon's Diana, which he has been able to keep up surprisingly really well. He is ahead in CS right now. He has his entirety of the top side to clear as well, and he's been doing pretty well. So top side of the map is doing okay for EXCEL. Bottom of the map is doing really well if you account the 2v2 kill that they also had together. So I think when Markoon is done with this clear, they should probably try to look to make a play bot lane, especially now that Summer has none of his summoners available to him.
Yeah, of course. And of course, the teleport's not available here for Odo or Larssen. Nukeduck the only one with it up for now. He may need as much time in lane as possible, still down 20 CS. And ADC, how EXCEL or where EXCEL look for these advantages. We definitely feel like there's maybe a time limit on this.
Ooh. You've got the time right here. If Nukeduck backs right now, he can TP back with full mana, and they can potentially take this fight in the river. But Larssen has already backed. He's got his blasting wand right there. Yeah, they want to do it. Markoon and Nukeduck against the world.
Gonna commit for this one. Larssen's behind the Herald Pit. Odo can join the fray. He's first into the river. He's cutting off Kryze. The engage from Inspired into the Moonfall. Markoon's now running from his life. Larssen's looking for the damage follow-up, and that means Inspired's been pushed away. EXCEL bully their way into the river and take the Herald.
Markoon and Nukeduck against the world. It happens again. They bully Inspired away from that Rift Herald, and Larssen right there never pressed R, surprisingly.
No, didn't find the target. Was pushed back maybe, not quite sure why. Now Advienne with the help of Nukeduck jumps onto Trymbi. Second kill of the game just available. Nukeduck's got flash. He's going to hold on to it for now. But the flash and heal wasn't used, and that means that he was able to escape. Trymbi's able to escape with his life.
Oh, Advienne holding his trigger right there onto the ignite. Trymbi would have died. I'm going to be honest with you, Trevor. I'm going to have a really bad time distinguishing that it's Trymbi on the Rell and not Advienne, because coming from a game where Advienne would only play Rell, now he's on the Alistar, it's kind of like they're all swapped.
But it's so great to see them here, you know, at the level. You were talking about the fact that BTXL,
they died for this.
They died for this, and it was Advienne as well as Markoon that added some excitement to the game. But I think, I appreciate and I respect that EXCEL not only pulled the trigger on the Heralds, did it at roughly the right time, were able to secure it, and that Rift Herald, plus some plates for Nukeduck, if possible, could bring him right back up to parity with Larssen.
So Markoon said that he's entered so many engages that now knows how to make it right. You try and you keep trying and you keep trying, and this is why we keep praising them, right? Because Markoon is ballsy enough to make the crazy plays work. Sometimes they won't, but when they do, it's a wow moment. And right there, they pulled the trigger together with Nukeduck to go for the refill. It looked doomed, I'm not gonna lie, but it worked.
It did this time round, and I want to put some numbers to that statement you just said, Trouble.
Yeah, look at the deaths.
Markoon and Advienne joined in week 4, and if you look at the team fight kills and team fight deaths, the overall KD went up, meaning that Advienne and Markoon helped find more kills, but still conceding a lot of deaths.
See, I would call this the Intin didn't stop, but now you can type in the chat worth.
Yes, exactly. Rogue can try do the same. Flash trade again from Markoon, re-engage. Moonfall comes up, pull back the curtains. Second kill secured for EXCEL. The fourth and final shot held onto, goes wide. Doesn't find a target. All of a sudden, that's a flashpoint from Odoamne. Gets the stun down onto Kryze. He's not going to be taken out just yet. Finally taken down by Larssen. EXCEL trying to chase for more. They managed to come out ahead in that fight. But it was a close one.
Yeah, and that fight was after the Dragon was done. So again, you see how EXCEL is eager to just take kills, try to create advantages. They grab 2 more kills in that, one on Markoon, on Markoon's Diana, and one on Nukeduck's Lucian, which he needs it a lot because he's fallen around 30 CS behind in the mid lane, 30 plus CS behind. So
well, is there potential? The root comes out from Patrik from the flourish. Nukeduck, no flash to follow, but with no flash on Larssen, that could be a target. I don't know if we can swap over to the gold just to see how much of an advantage there is. 900, call it 1,000 gold now for Larssen in the mid lane.
Whoa, and if you look, most of that gold is in the pockets of Markoon. Both his cattle crops were stolen. He's been able to keep it up. He's been able to create opportunities for himself. And I have to give major props to the bot lane because Patrik and Advienne are all over the map. Roots keep popping out of nowhere. It forces Larssen's flash, which means that now this is going to have an impact on Inspired because a Syndra without flash, you cannot pressure Nukeduck underneath his tower like you could before.
No, you cannot.
Kryze.
A thundering blow to the skies. Hits one more. Odo's going to get the teleport support here from Larssen. Kryze now needs to run for his life. No ultimate available just yet. Good damage from Kryze for the time being, but he may have just committed to the final fight, and Larssen gets the kill. No way for Kryze to run out.
Okay, but at what loss, right? Because he forces Odoamne behind, then the Rift Herald is going to be popped in the bot lane for Patrik. Nukeduck is going to get a lot of plates in the mid lane. So whilst, yes, Kryze died, he pulled a teleport from Larssen, he pulled resources from the top side, and his team is winning in other sides of the map. Nukeduck might have to run right about now.
No ultimate available just yet. Flashes over the wall. Nukeduck continues to sidestep. Scats of the weak if that stun connects. Not going to just yet. It may not even be needed. So much damage from Rogue. They are now in the lead with kills. They've got the first dragon. Markoon wants to try get a reply back. Trymbi not caught up by the flourish, but not yet taken out. Curtain call shots are being fired down the line. And it was be Advienne that closes it out. It is still an even game at 14 minutes.
EXCEL are making Rogue be bloodthirsty. EXCEL are forcing Rogue to play their own game. They're playing for the kills. You see Rogue going to the mid lane, punishing Nukeduck. They're not trying to go for a side lane advantage. And if this continues, EXCEL are playing in their own stadium, basically.
They are, but then of course the pressure is on them to maintain the proactive plays. They need to ensure they don't concede any control or vision, because if Rogue manage to find and engage with that Magnet Storm or a slicing Maelstrom.
They've got Chains of Corruption. They've got so many ways to make a pick. This is why I feel like Markoon is going to have to be instrumental in this game for EXCEL to win, because he's going to have to pull something out of a miracle to make that engage work.
Well, so far, he's found influence.
Kryze.
3 out of his team's 4 kills. Kryze once again finds a target, jumps onto Hans Summer, caught by the Chain of Corruption, and not going to be able to get the kill just yet. Kryze not able to find the last hit, and is taken out. Now all of a sudden, Markoon jumps into the fray. The rest of EXCEL make their way up. There's no curtain call for Patrik, and Larssen was making his way top lane, and now starts to back out. All of a sudden, Kryze, I'm not quite sure why he couldn't get that final hit down.
Oh, that was a little bit too optimistic, and now the rest of EXCEL are in a lot of trouble. I've been caught as well.
He's caught, he's got his ultimate for safety, and I think now with the support of Markoon in the river, as well as Nukeduck, Rogue are the ones hesitant to go further forward. They concede the Herald. That'll be the second one here for EXCEL.
Again, they don't have to do much. They've got a composition that loves to teamfight 5 versus 5, and there will be a time that EXCEL will have to root. The Dragons will start stacking, the Baron will come up, the Elder will come up. One of these objectives is going to force EXCEL to want to 5v5, to have to 5v5, and this is where Rogue will have the upper hand. All this time, Odoamne has been going completely invisible on the map, and for no other reason rather than he's going to farm, he's going to get his 2 items, the Rocket Belt and the Zhonya's, and then he's going to be unbeatable in these fights. He'll find the correct flanks and he'll met the bulk line. Again, Kryze right here engages onto Hans Summer, and I think Hans Summer locks him into place, and Kryze refuses to choose back to his Reigns form.
I think he had just swapped to then go in for melee.
I wish we could have like the cooldown or that, because to me it felt like he could have very easily swapped, but I might be wrong on the cooldowns, 100%.
I'm not sure he didn't step forward or whether or not, you know, Hansama just stepped out of the range of that Mercurial Hammer. Regardless of that fact, it's Kryze's third death of the game. Patrik is the one that has received all of the support for EXCEL, 1-0-3. The tower falls in the top lane. And I think if Patrik can help set up the picks that EXCEL need, then they can dissuade Rogue from getting the preferential team fights that Trouble was talking about. The thing is, they cannot lose control of the Rift, and it's feeling like Rogue are pushing on multiple lanes.
Exactly. When you get a tower on the Rift, usually the entire map around that tower goes dark, which means the opponent team will be able to put down some vision. And of course, Rogue want to take control of the bot side of the map due to them stacking the dragons. They already have 2. At 3, EXCEL is going to have to try and pull the trigger and try to come up with a team fight for themselves. And again, this is where Rogue do excel in general. Their team fights and their composition really favors them.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue are just really, really strong at the moment. If they win this game, it will guarantee a top 4 regular season in Summer. It's just going to help them out for championship points and then look into playoffs. And I think I want to see how they set up around this dragon. It's still 3.5 minutes away. So I'm going to keep my eyes on the mini-map, see whether or not EXCEL can find a pick beforehand. Because Trouble, I'm so with you. I don't think EXCEL want to set up for a straight-up 5v5. But if they can surprise before the objective, maybe then they'll feel more bold.
It's just really hard to walk through a choke point when the spheres are there from Larssen, when you've got Chains of Corruption and a lot of poke coming in from Hansama. Now they saw Markoon enter the jungle. You're going to have to exit some way. Now Dead or Alive is up to you.
All right, dashes onto Odo and is instantly blown up. No flash, no ultimate, just a really easy pick, punishing the awareness and the vision. So Rogue pick up their 6th kill. It's still even on gold, but very scarily, Larssen Syndra, 4-0-1 right now.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And he's also got his Void stuff completed as well, which means that any sliver of a Ma that you could have had is going to be absolutely shredded. These ultimates are going to be feared in choke points because Syndra is just so good at just pressing R on a choke point and then scatter the weak. And there's going to be like 3 or 4 spheres you cannot walk through. You do walk through, Kennen is there. You do walk through, Rell is there. They just have so many tools. EXCEL are pulling the trigger again.
They are indeed. Larssen this time around doesn't have a lot of mana, so he may not be able to push all the buttons. Gets enough for the knockback. Nukeduck jumps all the way forward, gets the shutdown gold and the kill. He's at the cost of his own life. However, Kryze was teleporting in. While that's going on, tower was secured as well. So Nukeduck, crucial, getting that shutdown goal.
It's just so beautiful seeing Rogue play. I think Rogue's LCK meets LEC. They're somewhere in the middle. Their macro is insane. The way they play is insane. They don't go for more than they need. Markoon might look for a pick on Hansama. Whew.
The flash got the ultimate. The trap will slow down Trymbi, but as Inspired arrives, that means Patrik as well as Markoon can't find the kill. So 3 towers to 2, 7 kills to 5, 2 dragons up, and we've got 2 minutes until the next Drake. It's starting to feel like EXCEL are not going to have the tools they need.
That was a really good trigger right there. They pull, oh, Larssen.
Oh, now he's going to be the target once more. Markoon is going to buy some time going golden. Here comes Nukeduck, the culling available in just a moment or 2. Markoon will lose his life. Hansama's got flash, dashes away from the culling. Now all of a sudden, there's a stun to Advienne. No ultimate available to him. He'll buy time for the rest of the team to escape. Yes, that's a kill for Nukeduck, but you lose 2 members and the TP.
That tier 1 tower in the mid lane for Rogue, it's like it's in a horror film. It has seen some shish over there.
It feels a little bit...
EXCEL just want to fight under this particular tower.
And of course, I think because of the pressure they're under, look at the standings here. EXCEL 6 and 9. They need to win to stay in touching distance of Astralis. Of course, they will have themselves the ability to play them tomorrow. You see how the rest of this game concludes.
Again, I have to commend Rogue right here because that's again a really clever pick. They're trying to pull onto Larssen. They've seen him TP, and if they kill him instantly, they can move down and start setting up their vision. But Markoon is a little bit way too deep. Patrik cannot follow up on his Jhin. Nukeduck is on the side, but he gets chunked down, and then Advienne is somewhere in between a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower, and Rogue had just back. They were all there, ready to re-engage. Again, I have to commend Rogue over and over again. I know it gets so boring because their games are slow and steady and methodical and textbook, but man, This team, that's why they look good. That's why they're winning, because they're not bloodthirsty. They know exactly how much they want to get, and that's what they do. And then they bleed their pressure onto side lanes, taking the towers. Suddenly you have no vision and you wonder why.
Yeah, and of course, Rogue, they absolutely can play for the kills. They have the ability to do so. They're just very, very well-rounded. It's 10 seconds till the next dragon. Observers are showing how little EXCEL can see. They need to step into the darkness. Odoamne just joined the rest of his team, has his ultimate available. And it does look like Rogue will be able to secure the dragon.
I think at this point you just take the mid lane tower. That river does not belong to you if you're EXCEL. You've missed way too many kills. You've died way too many times trying to go for this extra plays for the objectives, but now they're on a timeout.
Yeah.
That is an Ocean Soul. An Ocean Soul is one of the most precious because Rogue can play that back and forth, regen, go back in however they want. In 4 minutes and 40 seconds, EXCEL are going to have to figure out a way that they want to play this fight and they want to play around Rogue. They know! Rogue has vision! Rogue always knows!
Oh, follow Odoamne, looking for the opportunity. Advienne now under a little bit of threat. Does Trymbi look for the engage, holding on to it for now. Pays his attention to Inspire, and Advienne will be able to make it out. EXCEL, they don't want to wait those 4 minutes for the next dragon. They were trying to create a scenario, but the amount of vision from Rogue denies it.
This is like one of the teams that has vision literally both around the dragon and around the Baron at the same time. It's insane. You just cannot flank Rogue.
No, you can't. And even though the game on gold, at least, is even, it has not felt like EXCEL have really been in this game. It is Rogue that have been able to move around the map and secure objectives. Yes, EXCEL have counted. It's 3 towers to 3. It's 6 kills to 9. But we're at 23 minutes, and now you start looking at the compositions. You start figuring out, how do EXCEL possibly clear out the vision, control the river, prevent Rogue setting up, and then win a fight?
Yeah, this is the most important thing. This is why you see a lot of times Advienne trying to get a flank behind Rogue, is because EXCEL doesn't want to walk through a choke point. They allow their Alistar to try and walk in, get some vision. He might have to block his ultimate if he gets found out, sure. But they need Advienne to make his way through to try to find a flank, because EXCEL absolutely do not want to walk through a very tight spot with Syndra there, with Viego there, with Kennen there, with the chains and arrows from Hansama there. It's just a big no-go for them.
Yeah, it really, really is. We're not going to have to follow how they set up some picks.
Try number 2.
Look, two items a piece.
Oh my god, Odoamne knows. This is just...
The EXCEL members. Odo 104. The weak side king, as we have crowned him, on his 4th or 5th most played champion ever. Paying the respect to EXCEL to ensure that he doesn't concede that extra kill, doesn't give that small advantage.
And people wonder why we always commend Rogue. We compliment them on that. That takes knowledge, and that takes patience.
Yeah, you need the information.
And Odoamne has both.
Yeah, need to be able to be aware of what is happening. Okay, keep our eyes on the minimap now. Trouble, let's see, 2 minutes until Dragon. It feels as though Rogue have already started to push these waves out. They've only got shallow river vision for now. They may be trying to push this a little deeper, and EXCEL look like they want to contest.
Again, if you see at the bot side of the map, they're trying to catch Hansama in the mid lane. Trymbi might pay for that.
A lot of damage. He does get taken out by the culling. Ended up needing 2 ultimates.
Paying the tax for his support, for his ADC.
5 versus 4. And EXCEL
Larssen
want
has
to
TP.
potentially flip this at the Baron. Toward inside the pit. Larssen's in the bottom lane. He can join. Odoamne's making his way.
They have vision.
On top. Teleport is now being channeled. Piercing arrow comes out from Hansama, and EXCEL back out. They've got 1 TP already. That is a win at the moment.
Guys, that is a win for Rogue, because Advienne has to stay out to possibly push Inspired away so he can't smite it. And we've mentioned how squishy the entirety of the EXCEL lineup is, which means the second Markoon tries to tank the Baron, he gets so chunked out that if Larssen throws a sphere in there, he's pretty much really close to dead.
That will be Rogue now, pushing the advantage, 1,500. Another item picked up here for Patrik, 105. He's got the Rapid Fire plus Collector. He's going to be the danger man in this next fight. Curtain Call and culling should just about be available. And there you go. Thank you, production. Patrik, the most gold in the game, but significant drop-off for Nukeduck and Kryze. Trouble set up the expectations for this fight. It looks like Rogue are going to have to fight through the vision, but they've got the tools to do so.
That's what EXCEL needs. EXCEL needs to fight in the entire width of this river. But then walking down the river, There's a Baron in the top side. Rogue have 3 dragons. They don't necessarily care about taking the soul right now if they can take the Baron and then open up the map much more for themselves. So I think EXCEL here have to make a choice. You either fight for the dragon or you fight for the Baron, but you can't concede your vision.
Well, they did. EXCEL trying to look for a fight, maybe. Rogue pushed the mid lane. They managed to push the wave far enough that EXCEL's attempt at maybe a setup is thwarted. 8 seconds until the ocean spawns. EXCEL have got to push through the darkness. And remember all of the AoE.
What's Odoamne?
Inspired gets tagged for 2, as well as the Shock Blast. He makes his way out. Odoamne threatens, but doesn't yet pull the trigger. Finally does so. Markoon goes golden, and now all of a sudden, Rogue are split. Odo have lost his ultimate and manages to lightning rush away to safety. Shock Blast tags 2. Kryze doing so much damage. Trymbi goes in with the Magna Storm, but everybody from EXCEL splits. They get themselves a kill numbers advantage to EXCEL, and they continue to step forward. Rogue have not yet backed away. Odoamne's got the teleport. Nicks some damage onto Kryze. He flashes away. Scatter the Weak will not stun him. 4 versus 5, and Rogue are still holding on to the river.
Larssen and Inspired still have their ultimates available, and this could be the game-winning button right here for Larssen. Hansama also with massive poke, and EXCEL have used all their means for engage.
They have indeed. Nukeduck has got himself the culling. I think Kryze is landing so many shock blasts. Dragon down to 3,000. Advienne is very, very low. Still got the flash available to him. Culling pushes Larssen out of the pit. Manages to pick up the dragon. EXCEL by themselves. 5 more minutes. Odoamne teleported as well. So that is now on cooldown. EXCEL stay alive.
That was Markoon start to finish. I'm so happy we're getting this replay again, because as you can see, Odoamne wants to come from this flank, but what does Markoon do? You're not getting engaged if you're the one engaging the one that wants to come onto you. He takes Slicing Maelstrom all to himself in a Zonias, which means that Odoamne is going to have no impact in the backline of this fight. And then Inspired flashes through the wall, everyone flashes away from Trymbi's ultimate, and suddenly Metal Horse Lady is all alone between 5 EXCEL members. Markoon played this so well to stop the flank, to take one of the biggest ultimates to stop Rogue from getting the soul.
And so crucial from EXCEL to be aware of it. Because they didn't have to deal with multiple AoE threats at the same time, they were ready for that Trymbi engage. And it allowed EXCEL to pick up their first dragon. They are still trailing in gold. They are still trailing in dragons and towers. They have shown a tenacity that is surprising.
That's what they need. They need that spark. They need that second engage where you make the decision to go for that flip play, like Markoon did there, onto Odoamne, to stop your team from getting decimated by one spell, the Slicing Maelstrom.
And of course,
Can they replicate?
I think we've got to give some credit here again to Kryze. I know I mentioned it already, but I do think he hit a number of shock blasts that were very powerful. And just a reminder here, EXCEL playing Rogue right now, play Astralis tomorrow.
That's rough.
Play G2 on Sunday. It's going to be very, very important to win every single one of those games. Larssen will not get taken out by the culling, find himself the stun onto Nukeduck, but Curtain Call and culling, there's no major objectives unless someone starts Baron. So that's not the end of the world, but again, there's a sense of, I don't want to say desperation, but a sense of like really, really trying to force certain things to work.
But that's EXCEL. I don't think that's it. I don't think that's desperation. That's literal EXCEL style when Markoon and Advienne have joined the fray, right? They want to fight, they want to take kills, because you know what, Trevor? If you're not on the map alive, you cannot defend your map. So this is the mentality that EXCEL is going for. I can't blame them. They have the guys to do that. They have the fired up rookies to do that. They want to fight, they want to play brawl. Rogue don't though.
No, they don't. Buy more time. 2.5 minutes until Ocean Soul. Markoon, no flash. The moonfall is there. Can look for someone to jump onto. Odo can come over the wall. Level 16 as well. And that advantage over everybody on EXCEL. By the way, Larssen level 16 as well. Nukeduck level 14. Down 70 CS. That laning phase and the extension of the lead that Rogue have built up has really just built a control advantage. Obviously, those Scatter the Weeks could be game-changing against the very, very squishy lineup. So I think we sit tight, we wait for the next dragon. And once again, look at the vision of the setup.
I don't think we have seen yet Larssen press R on a target. And when he does, I think it's going to be extremely explosive, because now he also has added the Death Cup to his inventory. 4 squishy members, you only have to pick one, and it could be serious trouble for EXCEL. Again, you see, they're looking for these cheesy picks on the side of the map. But over and over again, we know how Rogue plays so methodically towards the other side of the map of where you want to make the picks on.
Oh, but now you can't pick the wrong side, right? At 32 minutes with Baron, with Soul, I want to call viewers' attention to how many stopwatches and hourglasses there are on the side of Rogue. 2 hourglasses, 2 stopwatches, so 4 of them. Just remember all of the burst damage, how much EXCEL need
Larssen
to eliminate a target. Larssen, that's the flash engage. Advienne almost hesitated, I wonder. Larssen was able to escape. Now there's a counter teleport into the mid lane.
Patrik has no mana.
A bit of trouble. Patrik will flash, will use the heal, holds on to the flash. Now Rogue are in the mid lane. 45 seconds to Dragon, and yeah, that was a little strange, but no flash on Larssen, so a juicy target in this next engage.
Yeah, in this next engage, but then he can play in the safety of his own jungle if EXCEL want to walk into this river. Again, EXCEL have been roaming around the map, not setting down vision on the most important objective right now, which is that Dragon. Because if Ocean Soul goes to Rogue, it's gonna be really tough to fight against them forward to back.
Or EXCEL picking Baron over Soul. 4, 5 members making their way to the top of the river. Infinity Edge was picked up by Patrik. He's level 16 as well.
Oh, Rogue is coming.
Sensed this one and sniffed it out. Advienne's got Hex Flash and Ultimate. Baron's going low, 9,000, just about halfway. 8,000. Trymbi's got the Magnet Storm, the Flash. That's a stun onto Advienne. He throws out the Ultimate. He needs to interrupt. That's a 2-man knockup. 2,000 hit points on the Baron. Advienne's dead. Inside the pit. Pick up the Baron, but the follow-up fight is fantastic. 2 more kills to Rogue, and all of a sudden Nukeduck and Patrik have to watch Rogue go to Dragon.
I honestly think that the head of Larssen might be reaching the ceiling right now. How in the world did he know that Advienne was in this bush? Instantly destroys him. Rogue will take everything. They'll take the... Oh, sorry, they didn't take the Baron. Okay, it wasn't stolen, but they'll take the entirety of the EXCEL roster. They'll push down mid to open the map and create absolute darkness in the jungle of EXCEL and get one of the most precious possessions, which is the Ocean Soul.
The Ocean Soul, indeed. I wonder if on Advienne's route up, there was a ward in the tri-bush.
What? Wait, he doesn't touch him. He knows he doesn't touch him in the Scout of the Weeks. Towards the right, that was so... 10 head, not even 5 head. That was insane by Larssen. That's your whole engage. And what keeps Inspired out of the pit? Dead. And even though, yes, you secure the Baron, everyone almost dies.
Yeah, they lose 3 of those buffs. Rogue complete the Ocean Soul. And what can Nukeduck and Patrik do with this? The Curtain Call gets some damage. It's simply not enough. And the gold lead for Rogue, the Ocean Soul, the invisible advantage, plus deep vision. When we were in that replay, Trouble, I saw there was a Rogue ward in the tri-bush. I wonder if they saw him go over it, speaking about Advienne.
But still, how did he know where to target the Scout of the Week?
100% agree. Very, very intelligent play, understanding where some of the risks could come from. And also, it is an Alistar. It's one of the only tools of sort of disengage there as well, so...
Keeping Inspired out of the pit as well. It's so important.
Man, okay, 35 minutes. EXCEL still trying to stay in this, but they're going to now go through the Soul. Grouping up their Baron buffs, no teleport for Nukeduck. He's just left the base. 3rd item completed, and that will be the 4th tower secured. EXCEL trying to now find another target.
Trymbi.
X-Flash, Deadly Flourish, won't root him down. It will, in fact, after the animation. But once again, the respect Rogue is showing means they've got out of almost every one of these long-range engages.
Yeah, the good thing is that they have still the Baron on Patrik and Nukeduck, and Nukeduck is very slippery, so he can stay around the minions without being necessarily too threatened as Patrik would. But the thing is, you're pushing some towers, you're still not necessarily setting down vision in your own jungle where you know it's gonna go down. 4 minutes from now, Elder is going to be one of the most heavily contested objective on the map, and you'll see that Rogue will push all of their waves, they'll set down their vision, and they'll go chill on their side of the map.
They will, and I think the thing that you've got to remember now is this late into the game, with 3 and 4 items being completed, working towards 5.
Everyone is almost level 18 as well.
Even in gold, at least, EXCEL can surprise. They can find a shocking pick. They can potentially punish Rogue. So even though it feels, and has felt for a long time, like Rogue are in control, do not discount And at this stage in the game, and we've seen it several times this summer already, EXCEL are not yet out of it. Still fishing for opportunities. Odo level 17, by the way, 305, is quietly dominating the course of this game. But honestly, his Slicing Maelstrom hasn't had a chance to have a huge impact.
EXCEL are so aware of where Odoamne is, and this is what is really surprising about this team. Even though they're so bloodthirsty, they know exactly what their win condition is in a fight. They will take the ballsy call over the safe call every single time. And that's a thin line between a hero and an inter. We've said it a lot of times.
Yes, indeed. Quick update, of course, if Rogue do win this game, they'll guarantee themselves a top 4 placement. What you can see on the side of your screen is the championship points, and we have already added the minimum number of points that a team can secure based on their current standing, which is why you can see Misfits there in 30 points, their minimum placement. Regular season could be 5th. For Rogue, sitting right near the top, they want to get as high seeding as possible, increase their chances of making a deep run in playoffs, and obviously getting to the World Championships.
I'm going to take us away from the championship points back into this game because the Baron is coming up in 1 minute 20. And if we look at the minimap, you'll see that Rogue is pretty set up. If Odoamne wants to have a flank, wards are already down and available, waiting for him to pick up a fight. Advienne has not cleared that far back. And Rogue are using and brute forcing the way into the jungle to make sure there is something behind EXCEL that their carries can TP on. Not necessarily Larssen, because she wants to play the front back, but Odoamne, I think for Odoamne is so important. You've said it yourself as well. He hasn't necessarily had an impactful Maelstrom yet, but he has to if EXCEL want to win the fight.
Especially...
Rogue
want to win their fight. Kryze will be the target. Flash over the wall from Trymbi, as well as Inspired. Kryze buys some time with the stopwatch. The rest of EXCEL pushing the mid lane. Not enough damage to find the kill onto Hansama. And Larssen's going to be able to try side swipe EXCEL. A tower for the death. Nukeduck will get press on, will get scattered the weak, and flashed on. 2 kills for Rogue. 25 seconds for Baron, a minute for Elder, and 50-second death timers for 2 members of EXCEL.
Oh, this is really bad for EXCEL. Rogue, yet again, they're gonna pull the trigger. They might even look to end. I don't think they care about the Dragon. I don't think they care about the Baron. It's all about finishing that game.
5 versus 3, and not the greatest wave clear on the side of EXCEL. Markoon has got the Moonfall and the Flash available to him. Inspired dashes forward, doesn't find Patrik, uses the Hourglass, the Slicing Maelstrom this time round, splits up 2 members of EXCEL. That's already a dead Markoon, and Advienne trying to disrupt Rogue. I don't know if he can do it just yet. Odoamne uses Hourglass to buy some time, and Patrik running for his life in the bottom lane. He's pulled 4 members of Rogue. It's a 15-second death timer for Nukeduck and a 10-second for Kryze. Patrik will continue to bring
Hansama is killing the Nexus towers.
The 4 items available to him. The crash down, the pullback, and Hansama left alone on the Nexus. Rogue a couple shots away from taking it out. Here comes Odo as well. And Kryze simply does not have the ability to stop it. Finally, the Nexus will go down, and Rogue defeats EXCEL.
He just let his teammate die. He wanted to give Odoamne 1 death, he had 0 deaths.
There's an element of showmanship in that last hit that captures...
No. Hansama just inted Odoamne 100%.
Yes, but it captures the essence of the game. It was like completely in Rogue's control for so long.
I think it was completely into their control. They didn't have to team fight. Up to the point where they were at the Nexus. Every single fight, every time they would lose a member, a tower would go down. Vision would go down. A dragon would go down. They stacked their dragons up so early. They always had that win condition. They always knew that if they wanted to fight EXCEL in their terms, they could pull them down the bot side of the river.
And then you have to think about the decision making. EXCEL opted into the Baron, knowing or expecting, I believe, that Soul would go the way of Rogue. Rogue were able to win the team fight at Baron despite losing the buff. Get themselves the Soul. They guarantee themselves a top 4 seed in the regular season. As the members of Rogue will finally take to the stage. Everybody at home, you can vote for your key player of the game at LEC on Twitter. Odo, Larssen, and Hunt. And I have to once again commend Larssen. He picked the Syndra into the first pick Lucian and simply controlled the entire time.
I'm sorry, but I don't like seeing Hansama's name right there because he inted Odoamne. Odoamne would have been 0 deaths for that, but I agree with you. I think Larssen had an absolutely incredible showing in this game. Yes, the Lucian is such a strong pick, but again, head scratcher, Viego wins again. I think Viego is just so strong right now that it seems like the Lucian picks in the mid lane and the prior that are meant to give you in the early game don't matter too much once the Syndra gets locked in, once Viego gets a little bit stronger. So unless you snowball it out of control, which the team hasn't been able to do so far today, Viego wins.
I mean, that's exactly what happened. Rogue end up taking the victory. They guarantee top 4 for EXCEL. They play Astralis tomorrow and then G2 on Sunday. Remember that EXCEL took down G2 already. So for EXCEL's shot and hopes at playoffs, next 2 games are going to be crucial. We're going to find out what Larssen has to say. Excellent Syndra performance. Laure, over to you.
I have to agree with that. Excellent Syndra performance and excellent performance overall. Although I want to say it's like a typical Rogue game. Really good early game and then slowed it down a bit, the pace of the game. Why so? What do you think that's EXCEL?
The interview has started? Oh.
Yeah, the interview has started.
I mean, I wouldn't say typical Rogue game. I think we have out of games we were also close at fast, which people don't appreciate. They focus on the games where we don't end the game fast. Usually we don't throw the games. Usually we win the games, but it's against Mad, especially that we tend to throw the games, that we actually have big leads. I forgot the question. What was it?
Why did the pace of the game slow down a bit after you got a good early game?
Oh, I mean, it kind of slowed down because we were playing for Drakes.
Yeah.
Because we had a kind of early soul, and then we fucked up the soul. So that made the game very slow, because that was kind of our game plan to like get the soul at that point. We also died a bit here and there. I lost my shutdown, so it's kind of my bad. I slowed down the game. If I play cleaner, I think we get all the outer tier 2s, and we'll be way ahead in gold, maybe even get Nash. Yeah, just some small mistakes here and there.
Yeah, I mean, in this kind of times you can experiment, I feel. I mean, you locked in playoffs last week, so maybe... how did you see this week, actually, with the games you had? Maybe trying out some stuff before being ready for playoffs? I don't know. How was this week for you? What was the plan?
I mean, for me and for us, I think it's definitely about getting the first place, so we can choose who we play in the first round. Okay. If we win the next 2 games, we will get first place, for sure. So that's on the thing on our mind, and just play 2 good games. Hopefully stomp enemies in the 2 next games. Clean out the games fast, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I think we are on a good path to clean out the games fast and have very good snowballs. So yeah, just working towards that.
I have a last question about the game, because I was talking to Youngberg before the game, and he told me he was happy with the draft because you guys let them go away with some picks they've been successful on lately. So I think about Lucian, Diana, picks like that. Why did you think they would be okay with this pick and you would win regardless?
I mean, it's kind of their comfort, so they were happy with it, right? But we had good answer to it. I mean, Lucian was not having fun in lane, that's for sure. So even though it's a comfort, I didn't mind because I knew I could stomp it. And yeah, I mean, I guess both teams were happy with the drafts, and usually draft is not that important. It's usually about the gameplay anyway. There's
something I want to show you. Production can tell me if we can watch the replay right now, but you did something super smart actually here. Scouting, Alistar was going in the bush. You were scouting with the Q and they scattered the weak. How did you know he would be in there?
I mean, it's a very slow game, and I think flankers tend to get bored. Like flanking champs, they tend to get bored in slow games. They were like always look for flanks because nothing is going on. So they'll be like, okay, I will go for flank. So it's kind of obvious, like they'll be on the flank, especially when they start Nash. So yeah, I was just scouting and seeing if I was on the flank, and this bush felt like a bush Alistar would stand in.
Honestly, like smart plays like that is, I feel, the reason why you got Kia Player of the Game today. Quickshot was saying it got an insane performance on Syndra. And I feel like you had a really good split overall, Larssen. So what do you think about your development? You don't seem to agree with me.
I mean, I have a good second half of the split. First half was not that good, but it was good because I improved a lot from not having that good of a first half of the split. Like I changed a lot of things, and I have very good habits now, and I'm very, very confident in myself now. So like I usually didn't struggle in my past in a regular split. So at the first half split, I kind of struggled a bit, and that was a very good thing for me, I think, because I changed some things, and I'm super confident now, and it was just for the greater good.
And you were talking about how Rogue is looking to get first place here. You locked top 4, which means you're going to play in the upper brackets anyway. How confident are you about locking top 1 in the games you have left?
Yeah, we should definitely lock the rank 1 spot, hopefully with some clean games, fast games. But I mean, it's just focus on next game tomorrow. I think it's against Vitality, so that's the next focus, and just take it game by game and play by play. I'm not gonna think too much ahead. I'm just gonna take it step by step, and yeah.
Might be a bloody game knowing how Vitality is, but we'll see about that tomorrow, Larssen. Thank you so much for the interview. And for us, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back in a couple minutes with Mad Lions facing off against G2. Stay tuned.
G2 as players are insanely skilled, so I think you can never count them out. They should be stronger than ever.
Larssen can TP in. The Dragon's down to 1700. The engage catches 3. That's gigantic, but there's not enough follow-up. There's not enough damage. The Dragon is secured by Mad Lions. They get the soul.
With Mad winning, it could bring more hope to other teams that they can potentially win as well, because G2 isn't winning anymore, but we're here to crush their hopes.
Remember Strong had to fight against 4. Jankos, the greatest Syndra in the game apparently, as he manages to get Caps a double. A beautiful scat of the week.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final week of LEC Summer. Yes, it's already the final week. I know time flies when you're having fun, and we're about to have a lot more fun as we'll soon see the reigning champions Mad Lions take on G2 Esports, which is a preview of a matchup we were very likely to see in the playoffs. Now, going into this game, we wanted to take a closer look at the two supports who have really helped define the play styles from both teams over the last couple of years, haven't they, Goldberg?
I genuinely think they have. You go back to the prime of G2 as well. Mickey always been a vocal point. Was even if Caps was the AD carry, if Pert was the AD carry, now when Reckless is the AD carry, this support is always shining. And you can see on the other side of the map, you get Kryze from Mad Lions. And I think ever since we had the Mad Lions enter the LEC with Kryze coming through as well, this guy has just always been a talking point for this team. He's genuinely good in any meta we've had. He had only 1 point or 2 points where he genuinely slumped, but then every time we get near playoffs, right, he starts ramping up again. He starts coming in with the flanks, the highlights plays. I think his Alistar is usually what we think about when we think Kryze as well, or Rakan. Both these supports right now are pivotal points in getting victories for their teams.
And as you say, they bring something to the table no matter what meta or no matter what situation the team is in. So we specifically wanted to look at Mickey X and his Rakan from last week. What are you going to show us?
Yeah, so this time with Mickey, I'm gonna basically just take a look at everything he does perfectly on this Rakan going into this team fight, because he really utilizes the kit very well. But before we get into that, I want to take a look at some of the setups before we reach that pivotal team fight against Misfits that they had. So going into this one, it's a situation where there's 1 minute until the Infernal Drake is respawning, so they're setting up for the objective. But the problem is right now, as you can see now, that Misfits, they're here a bit beforehand. Even if you take a look down on the minimap, there's always also hear it down in the bottom. So with this in mind, G2, they're just going to continue and straight down to the mid lane turret where they're going to be taking it, where they know it's going to be uncontested because of the fact that Misfits invested so many resources to try and catch them off guard while they were looking for vision around the objective, because that's what they're looking for. So G2 right now, what they're trying to do is stall. Just because you have Wonder that needs to join the fight, Hero is also coming, so we need them to back up beforehand. So as soon as they feel confident to join this fight, have a look at Mickey, because what he's going to be doing here is going to be pivotal. He's got the Orianna ball on him, he's got the quickness already. He flashes forward, gets the charm on towards the Renekton, continues down. Remember, he does still have the ball onto him, which is going to be pivotal when we continue the clip here. Gets on towards the members here, gets the shockwave down. He already used the E1, he gets the W, and he gets the second E out again. Every kit you had in Rakan there is utilized to perfection. The engage to get forward, the engage with the grand entrance of the quickness, and then again the E to get out of it. Everything you wanted from Rakan's kit there was utilized.
Beautiful by Mickey, and I think it also goes to show that, you know, sometimes when G2 is on the same page, I say sometimes because it's not always been like that this season, but definitely has been in the last games, in the last few weeks. But it's not just Mickey doing his job. He does it expertly, and the team follows up immediately. Let's take a look at the drafts then, because Kaiser has said no slouch either. What is your expectation as to what we may see out of these two on the Rift?
I think it's going to depend on a lot of what the comms has already built. Where in a recent interview with Mickey as well, he was talking about how he feels like the support champions right now is not only just to counter the lane, it's to counter what the enemies are doing. So for example, you see his Poppy here. Diana is a huge champion in the meta right now, so he's going for something like that. Sometimes you need a greater engage or more map pressure on the side of Kaiser. There's a Galio as well. So it's all these things and the flexibilities we see from the different supports here, how they're unique, but it's also how we see them pair up together nicely with some of the meta champions like the Leona, like the Rakan, or the disengage you get from the Braum.
I've never been this excited for a support matchup. Thank you so much for that, Mikkel. Of course, Kaiser versus Mickey, and two of the best teams in the second round robin so far. Gonna be an amazing matchup. And Mad, they have already secured a top 4 seed in the playoffs, but for G2, every win counts. Will return in a few minutes as the current and former EU champions face off.